Hello everyone, welcome back to the Human Reviews channel, and today we are listening to Parklife. That's right, Parklife. We've done Oasis, we listened to Morning Glory, and now it's time to listen to their rivals, Blur. Oasis basically kind of kickstarted this channel, if that makes sense. This channel started with the Radiohead reactions, but that Morning Glory reaction was the first thing that really got any proper attention on this channel. I got so many people that were so upset at me for not liking that album, and it kind of for the longest time it was my biggest video until I started doing like the Beatles reactions. So in a way I do kind of owe Oasis a lot, because that video helped my channel out a lot, despite the fact that I didn't like that album. So for my 1K special, I had two ideas. I was either going to do a Swans ranking video, or I was going to listen to Parklife by Blur, because the Oasis video did well, and for the 1K special it would make sense to do the opposite of Oasis, which is Blur. And people chose the Blur reaction, which I'm honestly fine with, because it means I don't have to write a script for a Swans ranking, which I was dreading, to be honest. Now, lots of people in that Oasis comment section just called me a Blur fanboy, which I am not. There are some Blur songs I like. I like the title track on this album. I like Girls and Boys. I like Song 2 and Beetlebum and Coffee and TV. But I tried listening to their self-titled album and I just thought it was boring. Like, straight up, that album bored me to death. So, if I'm being honest, I'm going into this thing with low expectations. The max score I think I'm going to give this is like a 6, maybe a 7. I'm just wanting to come out enjoying some tracks. I don't expect this thing to be an absolute masterpiece or anything like that. I just want to come out with some songs that I can re-listen to, and I'm fine if most of the tracks on here aren't really my thing. That's my expectation. Just to let you know that I'm not a Blur fanboy, and that like Britpop in general just isn't my cup of tea. It's really not my thing. One quick thing before we properly get into this is that I've re-listened to this album once off stream, and a lot of my opinions have changed. So anytime there is an opinion that I feel differently on, I am basically just gonna come in, state what has changed, and that will be the official score for the song. Anyway, this album came out in 1994. It is 16 songs and 52 minutes. This is a pretty long album. Okay, I didn't realize this thing was this long. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna get straight into this album. Track 1, Girls and Boys. One thing I will say off the bat is that why is this song the opener? Why is Parklife not the opener? Parklife would be a perfect open for this album. Why does it start with Girls and Boys? That is a very odd choice. I feel like Parklife is literally the perfect opening song for this album. The song's pretty good though, to be fair. This is beyond annoying. The song goes hard. Wanna rip your hair out? What? The people in the chat really not mess with this? This is like one of Blur's best in my opinion. Flows so bad, like the song was rushed or something. I don't think it was. The song is catchy as hell. I feel like this is... It's not the best open for the album, but I feel like this is just a really great, well-written, catchy song. It's like one of Blur's best in my opinion. I find this song pretty interesting. It's very progressive. Think about it, this song came out in the 90s. Okay. The first big thing to point out here is Damon Albarn makes the Gallagher brothers look like they are literal trash. Damon Albarn can actually sing. The Gallagher brothers, neither of them even have an ounce of singing ability, at least on the Oasis stuff. This song feels like I'm in heaven compared to Oasis. The Gallagher brothers, when they sing, Noel Gallagher not as much as Liam, but it makes me want to rip my hair out. It's that bad. Damon Albarn is actually a very, very likable vocalist. Not as much on this as I think he is on Gorillaz. I think Gorillaz is way better than this. But here, at least he is, like, actually providing some fun vocals that don't make me want to, like, blow my brains out. The song sounds like what a migraine feels like. That's how I feel listening to Morning Glory. Like, this chorus is so good. The bass line's fantastic. I think the synths sound incredible. It's fun, it's vibrant as hell, it's playful, it's catchy. I've got no complaints about this song. You hate Oasis, but how is Blur better? After this song, I'll explain why I think Blur's the better band. I have legit no complaints about this song. Besides the fact that it doesn't make sense as the opener, and I think Parklife should have been the opener, I have no complaints about this song. Let me explain why I think Blur is the better band, and again, I'm not a Blur fan. This isn't a thing of, like, just because I'm Southern, I'm drawn more to Blur. Nothing like that. I'm not petty like that. 1. Damon Albarn runs laps around the Gallagher brothers. He is so likable, his vocals are actually fun, and they don't sound like he's just tensing his body as much as he can to try and force out anything close to resembling good singing. That's the first thing. Second thing, production here is actually good. Let me compare this to Morning Glory. Let me compare this to how abysmal Morning Glory sounds. Okay, this isn't a very good example. What's a terribly produced song on this album? Most of them are too fat. Hey Now, I remember that one sounding like ass. Oh, Jesus Christ. There you go. You hear how that just sounds like a brick wall hitting you? No. You don't get that with Blur. You don't get that with Blur. With Blur, you get an actually well-produced, very fun sounding song. I'm feeling a high 8 on this song. I'd probably change that score to be about like a flat 9. It's such a fun way to kick this album off. It's, again, Parklife would have been a better opener. I will admit that. But this song is fun, it's catchy, it's well produced, and it's actually something very unique. It doesn't feel... It's actually doing something interesting with the Britpop formula, as opposed to Oasis, which just do, hey, the Beatles. You guys know the Beatles? We're gonna do that, but with a lack of talent. Next up, we have Tracy Jacks. The only 2 songs I've heard off of this album are Girls and Boys and Parklife, by the way. Those are the only 2 I've heard. Okay, we're back to the Britpop formula. Okay. Okay. Again, here comes the point where I'm not a Blur fan. This sounds like ass. What a terrible open to this song. Jesus Christ. This sounds terrible. This new Gorillaz ain't it. Oh, geez, yeah, no. What a terrible follow-up to Girls and Boys. We go from, like, a very fun, catchy song that actually, like, doesn't just stick to the strict Britpop formula to this. This just... We were up here, and then we instantly went all the way down here. I hate this. I actually hate this. You say this is Oasis level? I agree. The only saving grace of this is the production not being terrible. I feel like the production's okay. Should be more songs like this? I'm not excited. Why is this outro so well, that sucked. Just had a super long fade out for no reason. I hated that. Straight up, that was, yeah, that was terrible. That was an awful follow-up to Girls and Boys. Like I said a minute ago, following up Girls and Boys, which is, again, fun, catchy, creative, doesn't stick to the strict Britpop formula, following that up with just the most standard Britpop sound ever is terrible. The only saving grace is the production being okay. That is the only thing that I can give this. I hate the writing, I hate the vocals, I hate the instrumental. That was an Oasis level song. I'm feeling a 2.3 out of 10 on that song. This one actually grew on me a little bit. I still wouldn't say I like it, and I still find it a little annoying, but it's definitely not as bad as I originally thought it was. It's like a 4.3 for me. Wow. What a nosedive. End of a century.
She says there's ants in the carpet, dirty little monsters. Give her effervescence, she needs a little sparkle. We wear the same clothes, we feel the same.
Actually, hey, this is miles better than that previous song.
We all say the want to be alone. We wear the same clothes, we feel the same.
Yeah, this one's fun. This one is bringing back that playfulness that there was on Girls and Boys. This one's actually fun. There is way more to enjoy about this. It's more unique than the previous song. It feels more loose and fun than the previous song does. Damon Albarn is giving a way better vocal performance here as well. And these backing vocals don't sound corny as hell either. I actually like this one. Album might be a mixed experience. That's what I expected going in. I don't mind as long as there's like at least 50% good songs. That's fine. I think I might have heard this song once before. I kind of recognize this voice. Bringing out the Oasis sounding ass guitar at the end there. That was terrible. That was fun. That was a great bounce back from the previous song. I'd give that one high 7, I think, like a 7.8. This one also grew on a re-listen. I think I'll give this one about like an 8.2 now. That was nice. That was fun. Had a nice bouncy energy to it. Damon Albarn provided a far better vocal performance on that one. I actually thought the writing was kind of interesting as well. That was nice. That was actually really sweet. That was a massive improvement over the previous track anyway. Oh, we got Heat up next. Up next is Parklife. Okay, I already know this song's good.
Confidence is a preference for the habitual voyeur of what is known as...
You hate this? This song does a better job of making fun of English people than anyone else in history has ever done. Okay, it's more making fun of Londoners than it is English people, to be fair, but like... This song's actually... I think this song's great.
All the people, so many people.
Doesn't work when you're the most British person. I think that makes it work even better. In-Betweeners, RB. It does sound like the In-Betweeners. Because they are from London, and because Damon Albarn does such a great London accent, I think that makes this work even better. Because it's so good that it sounds stereotypical, if that makes sense. It makes this 10 times more likable and more funny. Like, the writing's so good, I think about leaving the house. That's so funny. This was wait, what? Is that not Damon Albarn? Wait. You mean to tell me that this entire time that's not Damon Albarn doing that voice? It's not? I thought that was... Wait, really? I know the chorus is, but I thought the verses was him doing, like, the most stereotypical voice he could. That is actually just, like, shattered reality. I thought that was Damon Albarn. It's authentic. There is a human being that... Well, actually, there are people who talk like that. I know people who talk like that. Damn. My immersion has been ruined. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was him. Instant point. It's not going to deduct any points. I still think the song works just as well. Song's a heater. I already have it on my light songs, but I'm just going to add it again to bunch it with the rest of the songs. Song is great, okay? I don't care if anyone says it's annoying. I don't care if anyone says like, oh, the accent is annoying, the chorus is... I don't care, okay? That song is fun. It's fun as hell. It's one of the best, like, mocking English people songs ever, okay? Because it's actually authentic, and it is, like, so specific in its jokes, that they land so well. I didn't even know it wasn't Damon Albarn on the verses until just now. That, like, shattered my reality. That, like, I had the wool pulled over my eyes for all these years up until now. And also, it's catchy. Yeah, the chorus is catchy as hell. That song is, like, a personal favorite of mine. Like, I love that song so much. It's kind of crazy. This one is, like, a flat 9 for me. It's pretty fantastic. Like, I have basically no complaints about that song. It's just so fun. That's what I'm noticing about this so far, is that this album is at its best when it's just being fun. I don't think I've heard anything else off of this album. I think Parklife and Girls and Boys, I might have heard End of a Century before, but it probably would have only been like once or twice. But beyond this point, I don't think I've heard anything else. Next track, Bank Holiday.
Grandma's new dentures to eat the crust on pizza, taken out by her daughter because she put your butter. Bank holiday comes 6 times a year. They love a Jordan to which everyone cheers. Barbecue is cooking, sausages and chicken. Auntie Lo is buzzing, and neighbours they are looking. Johnny's down a fun park. Okay.
Just that's kind of cool. Okay, I'll get that. Overproduced would be an understatement. Again, I think that the production is the only saving grace of that song. Well, that one little synth bit was kind of cool. That was terrible. That was ungodly levels of ass. What the hell was that? That was so bad. That was so bad. There is no defense I have for that song outside of the one synth bit and the fact that the production isn't the worst thing in the world. Those are the only two things I can give that. The best thing about it was how short it was, legit. I'm feeling like a flat 2 on that. That was annoying. It was so loud and in my face with how annoying it was. And it was trying to do this thing where it's like, oh look, odd time signature, when that just sort of made the track feel so disjointed and made it feel really off. That was an actual dumpster fire. I hated that. Next track, Badhead. 13 might be a better album than this. Maybe. If this video does well, I might cover 13 at some point. I've heard some I've heard their self-titled album. I didn't like it. Yeah, I'm not really liking this song for the same reason I didn't like the other album of theirs that I heard. And it's not that it's doing anything particular that's bad, it's just boring. It's just not doing anything interesting. There's nothing I can even comment on here. It's just like, it exists. It is certainly a song, but like, this is just really not doing anything for me right now. I did hear their album from last year. I think I gave it a 7. I thought it was pretty good. I might like some of their shoegaze and psychedelic era on the first year. That sounds kind of interesting. This is nothing the song, straight up. That was an actual just nothingness of a song. I don't have anything I can even comment on that. That was just a song that was in, then it stopped, and I don't remember a thing about it. The only score I can reasonably give that is a flat 5. I don't have anything to say about it. My new score for that would be about a 5.6. Not much of a difference, but still, you know, it's worth mentioning. The lack of anything means that I don't dislike it, but I don't like it either. It's pure indifference. Debt Collector is the best song from the album, you think? Well, we'll see about that. We're on the Debt Collector. Actual circus music. Okay. It's alright. I don't get the point of this song. I don't know why it's here, but sure. I kind of liked it, I guess. It's like a high 6 for me, like a 6.8. I don't actually know why I scored this one so high on a first listen. On my second listen, I just found this one to be super boring and really pointless. It's like a 5.2 for me. I think it's kind of nice. It's sweet. It sounds okay. It was... it doesn't make sense being on the album. I don't know why it's here, but, you know, it sounded alright. It's kind of cool. Next up, Far Out. It's not playing the song. Far Out is Alice James' song, the bass player. Alright.
I spy in the night sky, don't I? Quiet in the sky at night. Hot in the mill, pagan capella. Hey,
Nice transition. I have basically nothing to say about that. I don't even know what the hell that was. I mean, it was fine. I'm confused about a lot of these songs and, like, why they even exist. I don't get the point of that song or why it's here. Feeling a 5.3 on that. Could have shortened the album by getting rid of the last two songs. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here that I feel like could have been cut out so far. To the end. No more interludes now except for the last song. Alright, cool. Oh, I agree. This thing does not need to be 52 minutes.
Well, you and I looks like we might have made it. Yes,
Okay, sounds kind of sweet. I don't hate it.
be gone forever. In fact, when it looks like we might have made it. Yes.
You know, at first I was ready to excuse this song because, like, I don't absolutely hate it, and, like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But then I remember what Blur are capable of, and it kind of makes how boring this is inexcusable. Let's compare this to a song like Coffee and TV. Okay, Coffee and TV I think is my favorite Blur song, okay? Okay, interesting intro. Immaculate production. This song sounds perfect. Bass line is amazing. Guitars sound fantastic.
So give me coffee and TV.
Perfect chorus. One of my favorite choruses, like, ever. The same band who gave you this, such a fun, creative song that is overflowing with creativity, give you whatever the hell that song we were just listening to. What was even the name of that track? Hold on a sec. To the End. It's like a night and day. The dog's barking right now, which is great. I was going to excuse this song, but then I remember that they are capable of creating such fun songs that overflow with creativity like this. And it makes it inexcusable. I can't be more kind to this. You know, the title track is what this album should have been. The title track is such a fun, actually funny commentary on English life that sort of makes fun of it in such a creative and likable way. That's what this album, I feel like, should be. It should be more songs like that are commentaries on something that are also comedic. I feel like when this album isn't taking itself seriously like that, like on Girls and Boys as well, that's where it hits its, like, strongest points. Songs like this are boring me to death. This song is so melodramatic, it's taken itself way too seriously. And not only that, it doesn't even have a strong instrumental to back it up. I was at first going to excuse this, but there's kind of no reason for me to. I'm feeling like a 4 on this song, like a flat 4. On a second listen, this one actually grew on me a little bit. I still wouldn't say I love it necessarily, but, you know, it's sweet, it's cute, and I kind of like that it's here. I give it like a 6.5 now. Next track, London Loves. I like this intro. Off to a strong start. What was the point of that? I don't know, I don't mind it. This outro is very long, yeah. That song, in comparison to everything since the title track, feels like a masterpiece, even though it's not exactly a masterpiece. I think the song is just good. It's just good. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Instrumental is okay. Vocals are fine. Production is still good. The writing on that one I actually thought was surprisingly very solid. Pacing for the most part is good until you get to the very end and it drags it out way too long. That was fine. I liked it. I thought it was good. 7.5. This one shrunk a little bit on a re-listen, unfortunately. I'd give it closer to like a 6.8 now. Would never return to it, but it is the best song we've had since the title track by quite a large margin as well. Trouble in the Message Center. It's not playing the song. Thank you, Spotify. Okay.
Room to room, an operator. Locals today, dear, and just have to wait, dear.
How is this goofy that also takes itself seriously? There is definitely some tonal imbalance on this album. Because it does feel like, with the goofy moments and the serious moments do, like, really clash. Like, on the same album where you have Girls and Boys and Parklife, you have To the End. The balance of the silliness and the seriousness is so off to the point where it doesn't feel like I'm listening to the same album when it comes to like those songs. It doesn't feel like the same album.
You're made up to shine today. When so much trouble, too much trouble.
Really nice bass line. I don't know. I actually like this one. This one's pretty good. Oh my god, that fade out sucks. I know I complain about fade outs a lot, but that's terrible. Why would what? That is like one of the worst fade outs I've ever heard. That was so bad. Rest of the song is pretty good though. I actually like that song a lot. It's one of my favorites up to this point. Yeah, I didn't mind the la la las. People in the chat don't seem to be liking it, but I actually think that the la la las were pretty, like, that they were actually pretty catchy. The instrumental on that one was fantastic. The bass in particular, I think, was the standout on that track. The bass sounded fantastic. Damon Albarn provided one of my favorite vocal performances on the album up to this point as well. And the other thing that makes that song work for me is the fact that it isn't taking itself too seriously. It's not melodramatic. It's not over the top. I thought that one was actually fun. I give that one a flat 8. I feel like I would actually probably re-listen to that one. I actually like that one a decent bit. Clover over Dover. Wow, what a name for a song. It's wait, is it playing? It's actually playing this time. They got better at doing serious songs later. Yeah, like their last album I remember was had a lot more serious songs, and I remember liking that album a decent bit. Let me get my biggest positive out of the way on this song. The writing. I think this is very well written. This is one of the best written songs on the album so far, in my opinion. My biggest complaint is that the sound of this is putting me to sleep. This is actually the most boring sounding song imaginable. Oh my god. Ugh. I went too hard on Tracy Jacks. This is what. No, I think this is definitely like better than that song, in my opinion. I think this one should be louder or faster. It's so nice. It's not the volume or tempo that's the problem. Yeah, it's not the volume or tempo that's the problem for me. It is the sound palette that is boring me to death on that song. That song was just straight up boring in terms of sound. It's well written. It's one of the best written songs up to this point. The writing is incredible. I think that is genuinely a very well written song that it tackles that topic in a very interesting way. But they cannot make it sound as interesting for the life of them. I don't know why. They've had interesting sounding songs on the album so far. Like, Trouble in Message Center and Parklife and Girls and Boys. All of those songs sound very unique and interesting, and they actually bring something to the table, but the other songs on here just can't for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't hate that song. I wouldn't even put that song in the red. It's like a low 5, like a 5.2, because the writing does genuinely bring it up a decent bit for me. I'm happy to report that this one's grown on me as well. Not by too much, it's like a 6.7, but still, it's grown. Instrumentally, that song did literally 0 for me. Magic America.
Bill Barrett has a simple dream. He calls it his plan B. Took a cab to the shopping malls. Bought an item. La 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 la. He'd like to live in his postcards home. To everyone he ever knows.
Why can they not make an interesting sounding song? Please, just make one song. I just want a song that sounds interesting. It doesn't need to be the most mind-blowing thing on the planet. It just needs to be unique. Please.
I like to live in Magic America with all the magic people. La 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 la.
Song's still going? Why is it still going? Why didn't it end there? The award for most boring song on the album goes to that one. Wow! Yeah, I agree. It's like a 3.5 for me. I'm shocked at how boring this album gets at points. Like, I knew there was going to be stuff on this album that I didn't like, but I wasn't expecting anything to be, like, this boring. Like, I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say about that. It's just that it's a generic song that doesn't do anything adventurous or interesting in the slightest. God, please, can these final 3 tracks, just for the love of God, be good? Please, can the final 3 tracks be good? Jubilee.
Jubilee slouches in the settee. He's losing our will to move. Hey, just
Okay. Back to sounding English again. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, just correctly. Now I'm told him 17. He not keen on
Making fun of gamers, how rude. Finally, we get another good song. I actually like that one a lot. That was great. See? They can actually make a song that doesn't sound like nothing. They're actually able to make a song with a little bit of substance. I like that. I really like that. I give that like an 8.3, 8.4. That was nice. It had some fun, almost even punky energy. The vocals on that one, some of the strongest they've been on the album so far. It wasn't taking itself seriously in the slightest. It was leaning into the silliness. Where was that on, like, basically every song up to this point, except, of course, Trouble in the Message Center. Yeah, I love that one. This is a low. Let's see about that. 5 minutes, by the way. Yeah, oh my god. That's actually kind of accurate, though. Here's something more interesting for you guys. Sleepy Creature. Let's focus on him for a bit. Obi is actually perfectly representing my thoughts on the album up to this point. That's what I wish I was doing instead of listening to this album. Or well, rather, this is what this album makes me want to do. It's as if Obi was listening to it and not me, and he fell asleep. Because the album is that boring. Watching my cat sleep is more fun than listening to this album. For the most part. Except for the songs that are good, which there are, like maybe 5 of them.
Just sounds like an Oasis
Song. This just, straight up, I'm just getting Oasis PTSD from this one, man. Except, arguably less interesting. At least with Oasis, it's like offensively bad and I have something to like get mad at. Here it's just like, it sounds like an Oasis song, except it's not made by talentless people. It's made by actually talented people who just aren't utilizing it. So it ends up being more boring than it is offensively bad. And it leaves me with nothing to comment on. Alright, I'm jumping in now because not only do I disagree with this, but the rest of my reaction to this song is a little uninteresting. This song has grown on me a lot. I think this is actually a genuinely very impactful, emotional moment on the album that I think goes above a lot of other stuff on here. And I just think this is all around a very solid track. I'd give this one like a 7.3, I think. Yeah, it's honestly pretty good. We're here. We made it to the end. Thank Christ. Next track, Lot 105. Hold on a sec, we got like 20 years of silence before... I'm just clicking skip. Flat 5. I don't care. Don't even want to talk about that. Nothing to talk about. It's a goofy thing on the end of the album. Doesn't make sense. Don't know why it's here. Didn't hate it. I'm indifferent on it. Flat 5. Why is this album as boring as it is? There is such an interesting concept here with this album, with the title track of this album, and Girls and Boys as well, of it being like this mocking commentary of England in the 90s. You have such a fun concept there, but then you throw that to the side for all of these boring, generic Britpopisms with songs that say nothing, do nothing, and feel like nothing. This album had the potential to be great. You can see the great ideas that are hidden in here, and it's sometimes even not hidden. Again, on Girls and Boys, and on Parklife, and on Jubilee, and on Trouble in the Message Center. But then you also get songs like Tracy Jacks, or like Bank Holiday, or even like, Magic America, that range from terrible for the fact that they sound terrible, or terrible because they bore me to death. To say this album is a mixed bag would be generous, because it kind of isn't. There are good songs in here, 4 of them, but then everything else is just boring. I wouldn't even say it's a mixed bag, despite the fact that the scores are very varied. Because I find them all to be boring just the same, except some to just a higher extent. There is nothing about this album outside of those 4 good songs that I find to be memorable, that I find to be even worth talking about, if that makes sense. Because there's nothing of substance. It's all just bland, unimaginative, uninspired Britpop that at its worst is on the same level of garbage as Oasis, and at best is marginally higher than Oasis. All of the people in my comments calling me a Blur fanboy, here's your proof that I'm not. This album kind of sucks. Sure, I pulled out some great tracks. I still love Girls and Boys. I still love Parklife. And I still thought Trouble in the Message Center and Jubilee were fun tracks. But outside of that, this album is actual ass. Let's find out what my score for this absolute dumpster fire is. My original score for the album was a 4.8, but that has grown to be a 6.3. This album is a lot better than I gave it credit for. It does have a lot of great ideas with some solid execution, but I just feel like it's still such a mixed bag and that it didn't reach its full potential. I agree with what I said, that the concept that they had on Girls and Boys and Parklife, with it being this mocking criticism of UK life in the 90s, would have been a great direction to take the entire album in, and I feel like that could have elevated this thing to being a 7, 8, even 9 out of 10. But unfortunately, that's just not the direction the album went in. And while there are moments where that works, there are just still a lot of moments that do bore me and that I wouldn't really return to. But still, I do think it's better than I originally gave it credit for. And I'm glad I re-listened to it before I started editing, because I do find a lot more to enjoy in this album. It's okay. It's fine. It's solid. It's just not my cup of tea. There's still some great tracks I pulled out of it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know if you guys want me to listen to another Blur album in the future, probably 13. Let me know what you think of this album down below. Do you love it or hate it? Where does it rank among other Blur albums for you? Make sure you subscribe. We are now on the road to 2,000 subscribers. This was, of course, the 1,000 sub special that was voted on in my Discord. Make sure you go to the links in the description for my gaming channel, my Discord, my album of the year, as well as my Twitter. You know, all the stuff down there. Go check all that out. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. I will see you guys whenever our next stream or upload. Bye-bye.